So I've shown you many different keyboards over the years, all the coolest, all the weirdest, all the most unique. This device, it's a thing that you interact with all the time, pretty much every day. If you work on the computer, live on the computer, game on the computer, you're in front of a keyboard. Let's kick it off with this one here. It's called the X-Bose ergonomic mechanical keyboard. Very simple packaging here, just a nice white box. The most obvious thing that you'll notice about this one that's probably different than yours is the layout. Look at that. That is super unusual. The reason that an ergonomic keyboard in general has this type of layout is because of the way that your hands kind of rest down on the table. Now with a straight keyboard, right, you might have to bend them back a bit to get in the correct position, where naturally the wrist kind of wants to go this way. And so these keys are meant to follow your fingers essentially. Look at this. You normally have a space bar right across the bottom. Instead, you have this split design. So there's two spots for the space bar. And in the middle, they've utilized that space for Control, Shift, an Enter button, and a backspace, which is kind of cool because that gets used frequently. Having it there instead of there might save you a couple of seconds. It has some feet on it too, so you can get a better angle there. You see? So now it's even more in line with how your wrists want to live while you're typing. So it's optional mechanical key switches with Gateron red, black, blue, or brown. And it's also got RGB adjustable lighting, and apparently the casing here is made out of an aluminum alloy. The whole thing feels real solid. So Type-C, the standard USB. All right, let's see what this backlight looks like. Oh, look at that. This area in the center here lights up. It's glowing like a, oh, and the RGB starts moving around. There we go. Okay, you can see that a bit better now. Definitely if you look along the top, from pink, purple, orange, red, green, and so on. You can of course configure this however you like. You can have it cycle like this, stick to a particular color, but that's kind of what it's gonna look like. For a person like me, okay, that's already like not a sophisticated typing machine, typist, I'm already kind of pecking around. This is a very foreign experience. Could I get used to it? Possibly. Like, look at me, I'm reaching up here. You're definitely not gonna open this up and immediately feel comfortable with it unless you're familiar with the ergonomic concept. All right, so that's the X-Bose. Next up, also equally unusual, it's a 60% mechanical keyboard. These things are all the rage. Since this keyboard is small, you're gonna be missing certain keys, like even the directional keys. So as you can see here, by holding the function key, you actually end up with these functions coming back to you in like a dual, like a key combination scenario. This one is off Amazon. It's very affordable, and it's also mechanical. This one has key switches called red switch. These are, I believe, the same as the switches in the last keyboard I was looking at. Okay, let's crack this open here. Wow, look how small that is. This is tiny. Ooh, look how slender and sleek that is. It's only 60% of a regular keyboard. The only thing that strikes me immediately like, whoa, what am I gonna do without that is the directional keys. But of course, holding down your function key, you can turn these other keys into your up, down, side to side if you use them. Of course, the layout, a lot more familiar here, a lot more traditional, and the bottom is pretty straightforward. Oh, very nice. This is a lot more similar to what I'm using right now. Ooh, zoom in on that. Orange, blue. Ooh, like a split. Look at that. The triple setup. So this is not the brightest backlight. In person, you can see it a little bit when you look at it directly. But anyway, you can cycle through. There's a few different settings, as I mentioned before. And of course, the focus here is shrinking down to the bare necessity of what you need a keyboard to be. Now, if I take out this next keyboard, you're gonna see just how much smaller this thing is comparatively. This one is from a company called Myonix, and they sell it with these interchangeable keycaps like this. It's also backlit, it's also RGB, but much more of a classic layout. So look at this one here, full size. And now this is really gonna help you appreciate just how small this 60% keyboard is. Look at that. It looks tiny, comparatively speaking. I like this. Look at this thing. Very nice. Solid build, mechanical keycaps. We have a cable here with the little bungee on it, which I think is a cool look. A full rubberized mat on the bottom. Ooh, very little slip there. Maybe not as much of an incline as you might like, but reasonable. Oh, another thing I like on this, the OS key. I mean, it actually says OS as opposed to being the Windows key or the Apple key. This will work on both platforms, so why have a dedicated key that can't be interchangeable? That's very cool. Also in the package, we have a sticker, a little bit of paperwork. Look at the inside of the box. Is that cool or what? Why does that remind me of The Simpsons? Why does that make me want a donut? Well, I know why, because there's a picture of one right there. Also, a silica packet, which as you know is Jack's favorite treat, but you're not Jack, so Where's Jack? Okay, so that's the layout of the keyboard. Let's plug it in. And we see the RGB lighting. Again, not super bright, but really the purpose of these backlights is for dim environments anyways. Okay, last up, we have a wild one. This is the Retro Classic from ASIO. I have featured their products in the past. In fact, I featured one that looked almost exactly like this, which I was like, this thing is over the top, steampunk style keyboard. They went even further with this one, the Artisan Series Retro Classic. This one is primarily, in my opinion, for appearance. You want the ambient environment, maybe you go this way. So 3 colors are available. There's this one with the copper and the black. There's also a full black onyx version. And then there's one called Posh, which is white mostly. This is the most steampunk looking version of the Retro Classic. And they claim it's gonna be the right height with an adjustable incline. Look at the unboxing experience. Whoa! That is wild. Oh my goodness. It has like a leather deck in there. Holy smokes. All right, this one wins for unboxing experience. Braided USB cable. Guys, this actually smells like leather right now. It smells like I'm at a shoe store. Like I'm getting a fancy leather shoe. And this one is completely different. Look at this. It's actually like a typewriter. This would take me a while to get used to, much like the ergonomic one. But like I said, I think this is for a certain type of environment. Maybe it's at the front desk. The receptionist to like some cool business has this thing sitting there, and you walk in, you're like, whoa, look at that thing. This is that keyboard. This is all legit alloy on the outside with the copper plating, the copper coloring. It's heavy. It ain't moving. Now let's plug this in real quick. I mean, you can already see it shining through, but go ahead, turn off the lights. Look at that. That is some bright backlighting. A ton of contrast through those keycaps. So this is obviously a really cool look. I mean, that's what this keyboard is about. All right, so there you have it. 4 unique keyboards. This one might be the most unique. It's certainly the heaviest, and it feels the highest quality. But for me, the one that I would most likely put on my desk, in fact, I'm gonna go put this on my desk right now, the Myonix. I don't know what it is. This keyboard here is just speaking to me. It's the color, it's the gray. I'm gonna customize the keys, I think. I like the fact that the whole bottom is rubber. It just feels really solid. Don't forget, we had this little guy, the 60% keyboard. I think this is gonna be popular for a number of users. I feel like you gotta be a power user. I feel like these other 2 keyboards here are more focused on power users. Even though this one looks the same, once you use this thing, there will be an adjustment period. And then this one here, which is the ergonomic layout, I don't personally have a ton of problems with the traditional layout, but I can see how, given a certain number of hours spent on a keyboard, you might get sore in the wrists and so on. So there's a few options there, 4 unique keyboards. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comment section, which one would you go for? I'll drop links down in the description to each one. Question time! We've got some good ones today. First off, from Mohammed Ben said, did you still playing hockey? Some of you know, some of you don't. In fact, there's some videos that would expose the fact that yes, I do play hockey and I still play. It's one of the few ways I maintain this physical structure right here. I just think, like, why would you exercise, like lifting weights? It's boring. Get out there, play a game. Hockey is that thing for me, so I play twice a week. I'm in the off season right now because I play in the summer, I play in the winter, 2 separate teams, 2 times a week. Get on the ice, all right? Have a Molson Canadian and get out there. Maybe have the Canadian after, though, like. Okay, so here's one from Marcel Studio. Which game console is the best one for you? Xbox or PS4? Okay, the truth here, I don't play very many console exclusive titles, like titles that only exist on PlayStation or only on Xbox. One of the series that I did get invested in the past that was exclusive was Uncharted. So because of that game, I've generally been in the PlayStation camp, but here's the thing, like these are more comparable than they are different. So you can't go wrong with either the PlayStation camp or the Xbox camp. I know people get fired up. You gotta be on this one. You gotta be on that one. I would say follow the exclusive titles that pique your interest and then grab that console. But anyway, my PlayStation gets more use. Okay, here's the third one from Silvio. Do you watch Game of Thrones? Well, in fact, I did watch the first season. All right, so I was like, I'm going along. It's medieval. Things are interesting. The cinematography. And then the dragon started coming out towards the end, and I was like, oh man, I don't know if I can keep nothing. Like, I think it's cool, but I just wish it had just stayed like just a little bit less mystical. I don't know. Is that even? They're gonna be so mad at me now for this. Will's mad at me right now. I just wanted it to be like a long form of Braveheart or something like that. That's all I wanted. Don't put any spoilers in the comments. I know everybody loves Game of Thrones, so be it. All right. I could deal with a little bit less of the magical, mystical side of it. That's just me. So there you have it. Your questions have been answered. Remember, in this video, leave your questions down below one more time because I will be answering them in the next episode. You might make it on the show.